The vast North American wilderness is home to evil forces thought only to exist in nightmares. But the terrible creatures that roam here are all too real. Professional ghost hunters exploring haunted areas are prepared for anything.
The cave should just be up that way.
But that still won't save them.
It snapped in my head, we're going to get killed.
The voice had told us to go back. We didn't listen. If you're there alone, you're doomed.
Hunting for spirits is a dangerous occupation, even for those who devote their lives to it.
I definitely believe that there's things out here that I don't think we'll ever really fully understand.
There are inherent dangers and risks going into this field. You're entering a territory of someone or something that you just can't perceive. So you have to be very careful.
Brian, Jesse, and Becky are dedicated paranormal investigators.
My team's called Phantom Elite Paranormal. We not only just hunt ghosts, it's anything from the occult to experiences people are dealing with and just don't understand.
Being part of a professional group does not make one immune to the dangers. Something could go south very quickly.
Tonight, the team is heading into the fabled ruins of the Maribel Hotel in Wisconsin. The site is linked to one of America's most notorious criminals.
This place has an eerie, dark history, all the way to Al Capone, the gangster.
So the hotel was built in the 1800s, once owned by Al Capone. History tells us that a lot of gruesome deaths have happened in this location.
Some say Al Capone brutally murdered dozens of people, stuck their corpses inside whiskey barrels, and buried them in the many caves scattered around the area. The hotel burned to the ground years ago, but the ghosts of Capone's victims are said to haunt the land. Jesse and his colleagues have come seeking them.
We had been looking for an intriguing case to go investigate, and this really drew us in.
Ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
You guys know what they call this place, right?
Yeah. The locals have a nickname for this place, and it's called Hotel Hell.
People have seen figures and flames and dark entities.
What's the matter, Beck? Want to take a pass on this one?
It's supposed to have like a portal to hell.
Come on, it'll be cool. Take an hour, tops.
Yeah, there's 3 of us. It's gonna be fine.
Okay, let's do this.
We expected just another normal hike, but what ended up happening was just phenomenal.
The team realizes they're not the only ones exploring the grounds tonight.
Looks like there's somebody else here.
Probably just some kids.
A lot of times hauntings are connected to the people, and other times it's connected to the places that you're at. The buildings aren't there anymore. That doesn't matter to them. The energy of that place is still the same.
Hey, you coming?
The area that surrounds Maribel is just woods.
As they venture into the dark forest, the investigators attempt to contact the victims of Al Capone.
The whole onslaught of paranormal research and looking for physical evidence has developed a lot of different types of technology.
Give me the box.
A ghost box is just a plain old radio that scans through radio frequencies. Now, EVPs or spirits supposedly are supposed to talk through the ghost box.
Hello. Is anything out here?
Just try to go right off the bat and just trying to get something to respond with our equipment.
Hello. Is anything out here with us?
And nothing. We didn't get anything.
The cave should just be up that way.
Okay, let's go. Hello?
We start going down the path.
Get down!
All of a sudden, you hear these kids. They're screaming for their life.
Whoever got here ahead of them now regrets it.
Sounded like somebody was getting murdered, basically. Just blood-curdling scream.
We heard kids screaming. We had no idea what was going on.
We could see these kids running, booking to their cars.
It turns out some teenagers came looking for a bit of fun and paid the price for it.
The thrill-seeking people come in on a Saturday night, and it's been too horrific, too scary for them.
Brian doesn't let himself become distracted from the mission to contact the spirits of the dead.
Hello. Is anything out here with us?
A ghost is the soul of someone that has come out of the body. And when we come out of our body, we have free will here. So we have a choice to either cross over and go into the light, or we can choose to stay here.
Guys, I think we should go back.
Did you guys hear that?
It definitely did feel like something was watching us. We all felt uneasy.
What the hell was that?
I heard some weird noises.
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
Once we did get closer to the caves, I just kept on hearing noises, like something was either walking around in the brush or throwing sticks.
Oh my God.
Al Capone. Do you know him?
It wasn't until I brought up Al Capone that things actually start interacting with us out there.
Do you know Al Capone? Al Capone. Do you know him?
Now, the team gets a ghostly warning.
Did Al Capone bury your body in the caves?
Go back. Just plain as day words coming through the ghost box.
The voice was a little bit deep. It wasn't really clear at first.
Go back.
It told us to go back, and we didn't listen.
What's wrong? Brian, are you okay? What's wrong? What's going on?
You have to stay humble when dealing with paranormal activity. You don't know what you're going into. You don't know what risks are at stake.
Brian, Jesse, and Becky are a team of paranormal investigators venturing into the grounds of the Maribel Hotel, a haunted landmark once owned by the infamous gangster Al Capone.
How was that?
But before they even reach the ruins, the ghost of one of Capone's victims is warning them away.
Ghosts, they don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be harmed. They're just doing their thing. You're coming into their place. You know, you're in their house. Get out.
Al Capone. Do you know him?
Trying to determine what was going on, you know. We're trying to get answers. Go back.
A voice had told us to go back.
Go back.
Did Al Capone bury your body in the caves?
Go back.
Suddenly, Brian is overcome.
Are you okay? Hang on.
The spirit energy is too much for their equipment to handle.
Something touched me on the back.
Brian! Are you okay? Brian, say something!
Oh my God,
What's wrong?
burning!
Oh my God! What's on your back? Brian, take off your jacket!
Where I was touched, there was a mark on my back of a handprint.
Oh my God! What's on your back? Oh my gosh! Brian! Are you okay?
No.
It was a pretty bad idea not to listen to the voice.
Okay, I've had enough. Let's get out of here.
Let's go. Let's go!
We just wanted to get back to the car. We thought the night was over.
It's clear to the team why the teenagers fled the area. They try to do the same, but find they can't.
So we're walking, and it seemed forever. It seemed like forever.
What the hell? We were just here.
Are we lost? Don't tell me that we're lost.
We were all disoriented and just had no clue where we were.
One of the tactics spirits incorporate is messing with us through misdirection. I wouldn't be surprised if there were entities who took great pleasure out of doing this kind of thing.
We were just like panicking. We didn't know where we were. We should be back to the main path by now.
I don't recognize any of this.
Why is this taking so long?
There may be even more sinister reasons why the investigators are being led astray.
It's that way.
Worst cases, that could become a trap.
It's that way.
It got weird and everything got heavy.
Let's go.
As they are pulled even deeper into the woods, the sense of dread and danger grows stronger.
I think that the voice was warning us, and because we didn't listen to it, it drew us towards it.
I feel like that we're being watched this whole entire time. Like something just is not right about this.
Where are we?
I feel like we're walking in circles.
It's around here somewhere. It's that way. Let's look at the map.
It's hard to explain what was really going on at that moment. We were lost. We felt like we had no sense of direction.
I don't recognize any of this. The parking lot should be here.
we're all just standing around, like, getting out a map, trying to figure out where we were and how to get back to the car.
Soon they arrive at the very destination they sought to avoid.
What is that? Must be the hotel. But how? That's Hotel Hell.
We were just shocked that the hotel ruins were like right there as we stepped out of this clearing.
Was not expecting to end up at the hotel.
I'm like, holy, are we actually at the hotel?
Inexplicably, they find themselves guests at the Maribel, and something evil has come to greet them.
And all of a sudden, I just see this huge black thing, like, come out of the door. I usually don't see things, so I was pretty freaked out over it.
I really thought we're going to get killed.
When you go into a location as an investigator, they have to be very careful.
A team of paranormal investigators are trying to get as far away as possible from Hotel Hell. Instead, a demonic force has led them right to it.
Guys, it was a little harder to breathe the closer we got to the hotel.
This place felt definitely dark. It had a weird vibe to it.
We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here. How did we get here? And all of a sudden, I just see this huge black thing. It was just huge. It took up the entire doorway. It was a dark spirit. It was dark energy. I don't really know how to explain it any more than that.
Like, this is what those kids are running from. They seen this 8-foot-tall dark guy. Weird fear just like took over. I can't explain it. And I can't express what I felt. Just terror.
He's coming this way. We gotta get out of here.
Putting two and two together, it was time to get back to someplace safe.
The crew retreats. Yet for now, they can't bring themselves to completely abandon the mission.
I did not feel like it was really a great idea to stay out here when we could become a target.
Ghosts will create situations that make people emit fear.
He can hear us.
Could this be the ghost of one of Al Capone's victims? If it is, the team has no idea why it lured them to the ruins, nor what it wants from them.
That's what I think evil is. Someone who goes into that negativity, goes into that darkness, and it can go to extreme levels.
I was adamant that we needed to leave, and we needed to leave now.
It was a fight for life. I'm like, run. Let's get out of here.
We took off down the trail. Brian, he doesn't run from anything, so the fact that he's booking it down the trail, I know we're in trouble.
Run!
We took off running.
Just when it seems like things can't get any worse, the entity transforms into something even more malicious and deadly.
When the entity takes on a human form, it expends a lot of energy. And sometimes it will morph into a pure form, and in this form, they're considered to be more dangerous.
Brian saw a light floating down the path at us.
Lights were glowing as they're coming towards us.
Entities or paranormal spirits manifest themselves as balls of light, and I think that's what this light was that came down the path. I think it was the manifestation of that dark entity that Becky saw go through the doorway. So we head back running to the cars. At this point, we're terrified. Whatever is chasing us was probably not good.
They want to believe that there's life after death, finding substantial proof that when we die, something else happens.
Hello.
It's natural for us to be curious about these things.
Is anything out here?
It's spooky. Sometimes we get a thrill from it. However, we're meddling with something, and it's extremely dangerous.
Paranormal investigators Brian, Jesse, and Becky have the tables turned. When the ghosts they were hunting come after them.
Go!
We could see the edge where the parking lot is, and the edge where the light was shining.
Getting to that light was like our only safety.
I stop, and I look back, put my hand up, and I visualize myself stopping whatever it was from following us, energy-wise. I yell out,
No further, you hear? You stay out there, you hear?
Almost immediately, we got a response from the darkness. This piercing growl out of the darkness was a reply to me threatening it.
Brian's tactic appears to work.
It felt like whatever was chasing us was staying at the end of the path.
Go!
We threw our equipment in the vehicle as quickly as we could.
Whatever it was, definitely did not like what we were doing out there.
Regardless, we got in the vehicle as quick as we could and headed back home.
The Phantom Elite Paranormal Team survives their blood-chilling experience at Hotel Hell. But it isn't enough to scare these professionals out of the woods for good. 1 year later, Brian and Jesse are about to tempt fate again in the pursuit of another evil spirit. And this time, they bring another new member, Deborah.
I believe in just about anything. I think you have to keep an open mind because you really don't know until you see it. Once you see it, it can't really be unseen.
So Mary Dean, Wisconsin is thought to be haunted by the spirit of Mary Dean.
Mary Dean is said to have lived in the early 1900s. One version of the legend says she was jilted by her lover and committed suicide in the nearby lake. But death didn't end her anger. It only made her vengeful. Now she haunts the forest along the shores looking for victims.
Mary Dean was a passenger on board a steamship coming up from the Chippewa River who died suddenly and was buried on shore. The flood eventually washed the body away, and they say that her spirit continually roams around the island. According to legend, Mary Dean is said to be a ghost that lures people directly to their death.
It's like they're just attracted and compelled to go into the water and potentially die. There's a lot of accounts of death out there.
There are ghosts that are what I would call isolationists. They will take refuge in nature. Some ghosts choose to be near water because they can actually draw energy from that. They sometimes have a hard time leaving that. And it's part of the soul's journey to learn how to let go.
It reminded me of a siren. There was so much that intrigued me about this particular place.
It's dark and the wind's picking up.
Figure we've got about an hour before the rain hits.
And it's thundering and very windy. Crazy. The lightning was so bright and it was so long in the horizon.
So more like half an hour to me. For the rain, I mean.
What? Scared of a little rain? Come on.
So where do you want to start?
Let's try the ghost box.
Once again, the team turns to their trusted equipment in their search.
EVP, it's just the white noise that generates, and the spirits use that noise to communicate with us.
This way. Mary Dean, are you out here?
We were having trouble getting any reliable readings off of a lot of our equipment. We assumed it was from the storm. Some of that stuff can be affected by that.
The trio may have issues making contact, but the same doesn't appear true of their target. Almost immediately, Mary Dean begins the game, separating the team one by one.
Brian started having signs of something affecting him severely right away, and he takes off running into the woods.
Brian? Brian!
That probably was our first sign that something bad was happening.
Dad, wait here! Going after Brian!
I believe he actually suffered some form of possession while we were there investigating.
Older ghosts have more experience in manipulating energy, and so the more experience they have, the more things that they can do with their energy.
Brian, where are you? We're getting separated.
Being possessed is not something that is very common, but it does happen.
I'm following him. Yeah, I don't want him to go wandering off into the woods by himself in the middle of a storm.
Deborah is left alone and soon feels something malevolent going to work on her.
In the same way that people display a range of emotions, ghosts do as well. Ghosts may have an attraction to one person. Ghosts will single out people for various reasons.
I can hardly even describe the energy that was going on there. And there was a pull. I was drawn the other way very badly. It was so mixed up, so strong.
And in Deb's case, something was attracted to her energy and her frequency and decided she would be the one to take away and hypnotize. Something about her character, her makeup as a person, was attractive to this spirit.
Meanwhile, Jesse continues after Brian.
Brian was acting weird. This was out of his behavior to just go running off into the woods without anybody else there.
Jesse fears Mary Dean has taken a hold of his colleague and is entrancing him to a grisly end.
Brian!
The way Brian was acting erratically, running into the woods, it definitely felt like maybe he was being some way possessed.
Brian!
By the spirit of Mary Dean.
Brian?
If I would have just left him, he probably would have just completely disappeared.
Brian! Brian!
And finally, at that point, I was able to snap Brian out of it from whatever type of possession was going on, making him so frantic.
Jesse? All of a sudden, I'm like, where's Deb? Jesse's like, I don't know.
Deb? Deb!
Considering yourself a professional in the paranormal investigating world doesn't make you immune to danger. We're just at risk as everyone else.
Brian, Jesse, and Deborah are a team of professional paranormal investigators who have come searching for the legendary ghost of Mary Dean, an evil spirit known to lure people to their deaths. She first sent Brian running off madly through the forest.
Brian!
He very well could have died from falling, breaking his neck.
Hey, Brian, where are you? We're getting separated.
Or just the spirit of Mary Dean straight out killing him.
And now, the wicked entity has set her sights on Deborah.
Each situation of haunting and possession can be very different depending on who the person is and how they handle the fear.
Brian! Brian!
Jesse? Where's Deb? The feeling of, oh my God, you know, these people trust me. I just lost somebody.
Deb! Deb! Deb, can you hear us?
We had lost one person that was doing the investigation with us. We didn't know where she was.
Deb! Deb! Answer us if you can! Deb! Brian, you gotta stop. You gotta stop.
She went out this way. I'm like, no, let's just go back to the vehicle.
Jesse's like, we need to go back. We need to go back. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna find her.
Deb! Where are you, Deb? Debbie!
So, trying to be logical about the whole situation. I mean, Brian could just purely been only concerned about our friend Deb's safety, but, you know, it wasn't logical that she had ran off into the woods.
Jesse suspects Brian hasn't actually rid himself of whatever force gripped him earlier,
Debbie!
and that he's still under the sway of Mary Dean.
Deb! Deb! Can you hear us, Deb?
And he's not listening to me. He's just running into the woods, just screaming, yelling for her.
Deb! Where are you? Deb! Deb! Jesse, this is not good. We have to find her.
I wasn't having any luck getting Brian to see reason, so I followed him.
feel that?
Brian was acting weird. He's a little more sensitive to paranormal things.
There's something out there.
At the time, I was still under the influence of whatever is going on.
We gotta go back to the parking lot, man.
I remember that Jesse, at that time, he's really trying to get me back to get to the car.
Wouldn't listen to me, trying to talk sense into getting back to the vehicle. So it definitely seemed like Brian was being pulled into or drawn into the woods by some unknown entity.
I think I wasn't looking for death. I think something wanted to be found out there.
With Brian acting crazy in general, it now had me completely scared and freaked out.
There's something out there. It's trying to pull us further away.
I was still captivated by whatever was taking control of me.
Through all of this, Deborah is left on her own, an easy target for Mary Dean's deadly intentions.
All I heard was the wind and the rain and the thunder. It was crazy, crazy loud.
We leave kind of an opening for something else to step in. And so in those cases, souls of ghosts or earthbound spirits see that as an opportunity to actually step in to our physical realm. And that gives them the ability to have more interaction with the physical world. The one frustrating thing for a ghost is that they're not in the physical world anymore. So they're going to be seeking opportunities to reconnect with being able to touch and to feel.
Now the storm is rolling in full force.
Brian and Jesse finally catch up with Deborah, and now the real terror begins.
Did you see it? Did you see it? See what?
At one point, Brian thought he saw a figure of somebody standing.
That sense of dread, the scary feeling that I felt.
The sight of Mary Dean entrancing their friend is clearly visible to the terrified Brian, but not to Jesse.
Did you see it? See what?
Jesse doesn't see it.
After shining a light directly out there, I would have seen Mary Dean out there.
When your logical mind is engaged, it will tell you that things aren't there. That's because your logical mind is engaging and saying, there is nothing there.
It seems only Brian can see Mary Dean eagerly luring another victim to her demise.
Just wait.
There! And finally, at that point, I was able to snap out of it.
Now, the malevolent spirit is clearly visible to all, but it may be too late to stop her.
Just the fact that there's no one to help you. If you're being sucked into the spell, you're doomed.
A team of elite paranormal investigators has come seeking the murderous ghost of Mary Dean. Jesse has freed Brian from his possession at the spirit's hands, but then they realize their colleague Deborah is missing.
Deb, can you hear us?
The idea of spirits scares people. The big part of it is because People are afraid of what they can't see.
After searching the woods, they finally locate Deborah. But something's wrong.
The wind actually starts picking up. Wait. Just wait. There!
And we saw like a flash. And finally at that point, we saw the figure of Mary Dean.
And it looks like Mary Dean is ready to lure another victim to her doom.
I really can't explain it. It was scary.
Deb!
I'm screaming on the top of my lungs. I don't understand. Even with the wind and stuff blowing up, she would have heard me.
And what happens is our defenses go down. Our ability to prevent that attack gets hindered.
Brian manages to sever Mary Dean's hold over his teammate.
I feel that if my team wasn't there, Deb could have just wandered right into the water.
Deb. Can you hear me?
At that moment, I'm relieved. Like, obviously, she's okay.
Can you hear me? What happened? No. Can you walk? Yeah.
But there's no telling if Mary Dean will return for them. So they decide to leave as fast as they can.
Tragic. I can't express the sadness of this whole entire story.
So it is really an important thing to have some reverence when you're going into these types of situations.
They think they're free, and that whatever spell Mary Dean cast on them has been broken. But the angry spirit isn't done with them yet.
If spirits don't want you there, or if they object to you being there, sometimes they'll follow you home, and there's simply a message: don't mess with us, and don't come back. We don't want you there. You're not welcome. This is just a warning as to the kind of power that we have.
Did this thing just attack me? It feels like somebody clawed my back. That's what it feels like.
Are you doing that? No, I know!
I need to look at my back.
So we pulled up the back of his t-shirt, and there was this big red scratch across his back.
Are you doing that?
I feel burning on my back.
Brian was flinching in pain.
Come on! I know you're still out there!
It doesn't scare him, it just makes him angry. And he was yelling into the woods.
Come on! Come at me again!
You gotta stay humble if you're doing an investigation. If you're gonna be cocky and arrogant, you're asking for it.
It's probably best, if you're an investigator, to pull out of the investigation altogether. It's not really a good idea, in my opinion, to confront them. You're not going to win that war.
I was lucky to have my team with me that day.
This location ended up being far more than what we ever expected, but what ended up happening was just phenomenal.
Let's go.
I was concerned, especially for Brian's safety, being he was the one getting attacked. So it was time to go and get away from this dangerous place.
The crew gets out alive. Their most frightening encounter since the terror-filled night among the ruins of the Maribel Hotel. Hotel Hell. When the ghosts they were hunting came hunting for them.
What the hell was that?
Stuff happens, but it's not the first time that messing with these things even no matter how experienced you are, can get out of control.
And it was just phenomenal. One of the craziest things that we've ever had happen to us as a team.
I definitely think that we were lucky to get away that night. The entity clearly wanted to harm us in some way. I honestly think the only thing that saved us was that we were there together and not alone.
Tonight, Brian, Jesse, and Deborah feel the same way.
Everything that's happened out here, all as a whole, I'd have to say that it was definitely like an omen to stay away from this place.
We haven't even gone back to Meriden, Wisconsin since.
The team has learned how easily ghost hunters can become the ones who are hunted.